embracing the proposal put forth by our planning board not only reflects positively on our willingness to engage with stakeholders, but also reaffirms our dedication to prioritizing the safety and well-being of our residents. In conclusion, I urge the commissioners to seize this opportunity to partner with our planning board and establish a subcommittee dedicated to examining our floodplain ordinance. Together, we can work towards developing solutions that not only address the immediate concerns faced by our community, but also lay the foundation for a more resilient and sustainable future. Thank you for your attention.
Good morning, Bill.
Thank you. My name is Bill McClarney. I'm here primarily in my capacity as a long-term resident of Macon County and property owner, including a substantial piece of floodplain on the Little Tennessee River. I'm going to start by saying one thing that I'll bet everybody in the room can agree on, and that is that this meeting is probably going to go on too long. In a feeble attempt to mitigate that, I'm going to try and summarize some points that have been made by various people during the days and weeks that this has been a hot issue. And I've been able to identify about 12 different discrete reasons why we should maintain the current floodplain ordinance. One is that nature designs the floodplains. And when we try to engineer them out of existence, we often wind up outsmarting ourselves. Also, we should maintain the ordinance because of the need to protect our unique Southern Appalachian biodiversity, which I believe we all are proud of. We should also protect the floodplain ordinance in order to protect and preserve valuable floodplain farmlands for agriculture, which is an integral part of our society. Because the Little Tennessee and our rivers and floodplains in general are extremely valuable recreational resources for traditional local use and also for use by visitors who contribute to the economy of the county. Because impacting the floodplain tends to impact water quality, maintaining water quality is always going to be a challenge. It's going to be more of a challenge to the extent that we impact the floodplain, thereby increasing potential costs for both drinking water and wastewater treatment. Public safety suffers when we develop excessively in the floodplain. Jason has cited the example of Crusoe in Haywood County. There are others where massive property damage and loss of life has occurred, and we need to prevent that. That brings up the ancillary issue of the fact that county personnel are required to respond to flood situations. It costs the county money. It also may put county personnel in danger if they're required to perform rescue and salvage operations. We should do everything we can to mitigate those costs and those risks. Developing in the floodplain increases insurance costs. And I think maybe one of the most important points is that the adoption of the existing floodplain ordinance established Macon County as a regional leader, and we should reflect pride in that the previous government took the trouble to try and craft something that protects and benefits everybody. Also, floodplain management is a property rights issue. If I make a structural modification to get floodwater off my property, I may think I'm exercising my property rights, but potentially I'm passing that damage on down to all the other property owners downstream. That leads to what one of the participants in the planning board meeting said, which is that we should abide by the golden rule, do unto others. Everybody knows that rule. The golden rule does not allow for me solving my problem by tossing it over the fence on your side. And finally, we ought to resonate with this group as an elected body. I think there's a very broad base of popular support for maintaining the existing floodplain ordinance. So one point in conclusion, the existing ordinance is the result of an awful lot of hard work by a lot of people over a period of months and years. County commissioners, planning board, watershed council, experts in various kinds of ordinary citizens. They came to a wise decision, I think, one that protects us all. Fortunately, right now, the correct decision is the easy decision. We have been given an excellent tool for managing our floodplain, and I think we should retain that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. The only thing I have to add to what Jason Love and Dr. McClarney just said about the Little Tennessee River watershed is that it's my business. The condition of the river when it rains and after flood events, its recovery time, all of that has an impact on my river business, particularly in the warm season. Just also, you know, the animals that live in the river are definitely impacted. The aquatic bugs affect the trout fishing. You know, ecotourism is not a huge industry in Macon County yet, but I'll tell you, as I said at the planning board meeting before, it's gonna be growing, and I want it to be viable in the future for this watershed. I think, what sets us apart from the other rivers, as I told the planning board, is that the Chattooga, you know, has its white water. It's like a CG, it's a wonderful fly fishing destination. It's got, you know, it's a little more exciting than the Little Tennessee. And of course, the Nantahala has NOC, and it's just exciting. So what's different about us? It's the fishing, it's the trout fishing, and it's my eco tours where I highlight the birds more than anything. 80% of my clients are there to look at wetland species birds. We're blessed with this Atlantic flyway that goes over our watershed. We have, arguably, we have more birds than any contiguous river on the eastern seaboard that's not also coastal. So it's just, Dr. McClarney's collected all this data over the years, and it's just what shines about us as our biodiversity, and my job is to highlight it and to, my favorite things for tourists that come here, they're thinking about moving here, is to make them care as deeply as we all do in this room. And I want to be stewards of this place, like you all are stewards, and I'm a steward, and everybody in here is a steward of this beautiful, fragile watershed. We want them to care deeply about it, and that's part of why I do what I do, and also so I can work outside. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk. I won't waste any more of your time. I think y'all know everything about how I feel about that river. So thank you so much.
Hello, I'm Susan Irvin. I sent you all a letter yesterday. I hope you got it and had a chance to read it. I'm a 40-year resident of Macon County. I was on the planning board when we wrote the floodplain ordinance, one of yours. A sizable portion of our personal property is in floodplain, and we have stress and mass from existing flooding, and would definitely suffer from additional flooding if there's much fill in the floodplain. The fact that fill raises flood levels is not an opinion, it's a fact. Filling one small piece might not cause problems, but filling many pieces definitely would cause problems. Some say only minor changes are being proposed, but if we roll back to the FEMA standards ordinance, that allows any and all fill in the floodplain, except only the floodway. Protective ordinances like this are not a violation of property rights. They're protecting property rights. A property owner does not have the right to impinge on other owners. A property owner does not have the right to pollute. Our river is in much better shape than those in neighboring areas, and this ordinance is one of the main reasons why. The town is now considering adopting the same provisions for floodplain protection that the county has in place. What a step backward it would be for the county to drop those protections. Lewis referred to the May second planning board meeting and the planning board's request for more time to study and to form a committee, and I urge you also to let that committee be formed and to, accept the recommendations and work of the planning board, which has been appointed to address these issues. I ask you not to act hastily to change an ordinance that is providing protection to all of us who have floodplain property, who farm bottomlands, who have river-related businesses, who enjoy the river for recreation, and who value the health and beauty of our streams. Thank you.
Sarah?
Good evening. My name is Sarah Johnson. I'm a seventh generation citizen of Macon County. I speak to you tonight about the proposed Little Tennessee floodplain ordinance change regarding the fill dirt. Many in my community like the law as it is. We see the county's strict regulations on the floodplain as benefit to many downstream. Weakening the floodplain ordinance risks damaging our unique ecology, our scenic beauty, and our cultural heritage surrounding the river. Otto has a lot of underrated beauty in its waters. As a kid, I got to see the beautiful but endangered turquoise shiners. I want my son to see them too. The Little Tennessee River watershed is America's first native fish conservation area for a reason. We are unique among all the rivers in the South, meaning that it's habitat to most of the freshwater fauna that was here originally, and we have the highest diversity of freshwater mussels on the globe. These creatures clean the water and filter it. They are worth protection and a lot of respect. Our biodiversity is priceless. It is among the region's richest recreation and tourism economies. Today, the outdoor economy contributes $28 billion to the North Carolina economy annually, creating 260,000 jobs in North Carolina and generating $124.5 billion in federal, state, and local taxes. There is money in this wild beauty, and it supports our economy more than people realize. Government regulation is not always a dirty word, and it helps us protect our natural scenic beauty. These areas that make up the floodplain landscape have an intrinsic value to our agricultural community, especially as farmland is becoming more scarce. If you allow fill dirt, you're on the list of letting everybody pave it over, like they did. And while normal flooding fertilizes the fields, catastrophic flooding scours them. Our concern is that weakening the protections on the floodplain will set up a situation that slowly picks at the health of the river and the safety of those downstream. These areas have an undervalued function. They slow down the floodwaters before they reach Franklin. Macon County sees anywhere from 50 to 60 inches of rainfall annually, with Highlands seeing 100 inches, the highest in the state. We don't flood like the rest of North Carolina, so our flood regulations have to be different. We have serious concerns about possible future impacts when the river's ability to flood is naturally channelized, causing it to flow deeper and faster. If the natural floodplain in Octo is restricted with levees, roads, and structures to the point that the water cannot move freely on the floodplain, then this narrowing of the natural watercourse causes the water to flow faster, deeper, and increases the risk of catastrophic flood damage. All that extra water will stress the aging Lake Emery Dam, which no one wants to see the damage caused by all those old pollutants buried in the sediment, washing down Meadmore. Meadmore is one of the last cradles of freshwater aquatic life in America. It is worth strict protection. I have lived to see this river reach 441 and flood the fairgrounds and reach to the bottom of Town Hill. My mother has seen it happen several times. The data record confirms that these 100-year events are happening more frequently. The same floods that damage the river's ecology also cause property damage and, most importantly, loss of life. At the planning board meeting, Mr. Culpepper referenced an RV park that could not be built, claiming part of the decline in the Otto community was due to the strict floodplain ordinance. Otto was struggling long before that. We point out that RV parks are prone to issues with sewage flowing into nearby waterways, and that one of the reasons the RV park in Gibson Bottoms didn't pan out was because of the sewage. Otto deserves clean water, not more RV parks. As was mentioned at the planning board, there are avenues for reasonable requests. Getting an individual site-specific ordinance variance does not mean the whole floodplain protection being thrown out. Brevard, for instance, has the most strict floodplain ordinance, and they seem to be doing fine. We should recognize the benefits of keeping our existing strict water protections. We should not fight topography, physics, and Mother Nature. Please, we ask you to leave the existing floodplain ordinance as is. We also respectfully and politely ask that Commissioner Young recuse himself from any decision-making process on this matter and avoid any semblance of impropriety. However proceed. He recently purchased the riverfront property in Otto adjacent to the highway under the name Steel MC LLC before bringing this matter to the board. Thank you.
Gentlemen, ladies, thank you. Yeah, first, I'm not here as a town council member, but as a town council member, I don't think that the town is taking up changing our floodplain ordinance. That being said, I'm here as a citizen of Macon County, and I did bring up the fact that the floodplain ordinance hurt somebody in Austin. It just hurt them. They actually went bankrupt after they already had the infrastructure in to put that RV park in. That being said, I'll try to be brief. I'm a canoeer, kayaker, and an avid outdoor explorer and adventurer. I live here for a reason because I love the outdoors. I advocate for outdoor recreation opportunities every single chance that somebody will listen to me. I think outdoor recreation is severely underfunded in the town and the county. Although the town's working on that, and the county is also beginning to come around to more recreation opportunities. We are part of nature. We're part of the outdoor environment. You can't remove man from nature and just say, well, nature is this over here and man is over here. We are fundamentally part of it. I love fish. I love animals. I love fish and animals and wildlife and nature more than I like people. But that being said, people need protection from the acts of man, just like nature needs protection from the acts of man. We all know government is not always benevolent. We know that government does things and makes poor decisions. Whatever party you are, you know the other party's wrong and makes horrible decisions. So government is not infallible. Whatever the intentions of the floodplain ordinance were then, we know that it's not operating as good as it could. We know that it's trapping people. We know that landowners are being turned into criminals for things as simple as putting a driveway in. That's not really fair. It's not just. And we know that. We now know it after years and years and years of this floodplain ordinance being passed. We know that it traps people, and they get an NOV, and it says they're gonna get fined like $5,000 a day until they correct it. And there needs to be some sort of pressure relief valve, if not just going to the state ordinance. Reflecting on the state ordinance, the amount of time and effort that's put into something, it doesn't make it any less of a mistake when it fails to do the things that it was designed to do. I was somewhat misrepresented in one of the papers in so much that I'm not encouraging fill. I'm not gonna go put a sign on it that says put fill in our floodplain. It'd be ideal if we didn't get fill in the floodplain. I'm not pro fill, but I am pro a man or a woman being able to use their property and have access to their property. And right now, there are properties that have no available access because the floodplain ordinance does not have provisions that allow for that. At the county rec commission board meeting this morning that I sit on, it was talked about how the rec park is within the town's floodplain ordinance jurisdiction, and how that is a huge benefit because we're actually able to use the rec park. We're gonna be able to redevelop it because the town's floodplain ordinance is not as strict as the county's. it's difficult to put outdoor recreational opportunities in the county with our current floodplain ordinance. That's another caveat that needs to be changed, another relief valve that needs looking into. As far as soil in the rivers, our soil erosion ordinance does cover that. So if a man needs or a woman needs to put some fill in the floodplain to access or use their land, I'm okay with that. Thank you.
Yes, I could say, anybody else? That concludes, our meeting with the, public comment period. Additions to the agenda, do we have a control addition to the agenda? Or any of the commissioners have additions to the agenda?
Mr. Shields, I have one.
Yeah. Where did it go on?
Consent agenda along with the other budget amendments. I have laid a budget amendment number 271 in each of your spaces. So if we could add that in with 12B, please. 12B. Budget amendment 271. Thank you.
Like the police, computer say paper.
So we just have one addition to the agenda. All right, we have a motion to, suggest the approval of the agenda.
So, Chairman.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in agreement? Thank you very much. Let's move along. So, Russ, are you, you don't want to go, you want to do it again? This is, that's the only thing you need to say about this meeting again, is, it also city covers down at the islands, anything you need to say about this meeting?
Yeah, I think, Russ, you know, with the opioid funding Macon County is receiving, much of the western region, like Macon County, has been, Southwestern Commission, as they do so many times, has taken the lead on this initiative from a regional standpoint and has done some legwork, with the Humble Foundation here that Russ is about to share with us, in terms of what can we do as a region with the opioid funding. So I think, you know, that the counties in the west, and Russ can certainly speak to it better than I, have just taken the approach of, you know, to take our time with this. We realize, this money is, to be used over, many years, and we just wanna be sure that, we have all the information and that we're using the money in the best manner possible. So, many of the, 7 western counties are awaiting, what Russ is presenting here tonight and the next steps with that. And so after Russ gets done, we can certainly, speak with Ms. Owens and any representatives from, the town of Highlands that are here. You know, Ms. Sheila Jenkins is here with us, and she had a grant opportunity that she wanted to, perhaps discuss if she could.
Ms. Kennedy.
And Ms. Kennedy, of course.
Comment or
So, a lot of people that are very involved in this and are very, excited about this funding and what we can do with it in the community. So, Russ, with that being said, glad to have you here at our annual opioid meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Manager, thank you, Commissioners. Again, I'm Russ Harris, with the Southwestern Commission. We have a council of governments in seven westernmost counties here in North Carolina, towns within those counties, and eastern band of territory. And most of our work's in the area of community and economic development, workforce development, and we provide services for older adults through the area agency on aging. So the topic tonight, talking about opioid settlement funding, kind of touches all those areas. And when this funding got announced, for the region, it's about $35 million. For Macon County, it's around $3.4 million. That's over a period of about 18 years that money will come down into the region. And so about a year and a half ago, we started having conversations with counties, and we're all gonna have to go through the same planning process and decide what we want to do with these funds. Realized maybe that wasn't the most efficient way to do it, with limited staff time and resources, if everybody's got to do the same process. Why don't we join together, be more efficient, kind of do this planning process together? Other reasons for doing a regional plan were the opportunities. $35 million is a lot of money, not necessarily though when it's spread out over 18 years for a problem this big. So the idea was there may be opportunities for alignment between different counties, and you can leverage those funds and make them go further if you were working together on that. And then also the opportunity to share best practices. I know the sheriff's department here is one of the first to work into the MAP program. Other counties had interest in learning about that, so it gave us the opportunity to do that. So I'm just going to talk briefly tonight about kind of where we are in the process, kind of the high-level findings up to this point. One of the decisions that this board will be faced with in terms of choosing whether you're going to choose the strategies from a list known as option A or a list known as option B, and a little bit of what the process looks like from a local government standpoint. So, as the county manager mentioned, when we decided to undertake this process, we put out an RFP, we looked for a consultant to help us. This is not our world, it's not something we know a lot about. So we ended up on getting a couple of different proposals, and we went with a company called the Omni Institute. So, at this point, on the slide in front of you shows kind of where we are in the process. We started with data collection. I passed out last time I was here some county snapshots on our website for ER visits, number of deaths, things like that. And then we started doing interviews, focus groups, and surveys. And that process ran up through December. In February, we began working on the strategic process. We brought staff from the counties together. So this is what's coming up to the regional level. And we asked them to kind of vote on what priorities were so that we could come up with a handful of priorities at the regional level. So right now, we're kind of in that implementation planning process. We've also started having meetings with every county, because just because we have regional priorities doesn't mean that's what works at the local level. We've had meetings with local governments to figure out that these priorities match up with what your priorities are on the ground. So we won't only come out of this with a regional plan, but each county will have a specific plan for themselves as well. We'll also have an evaluation plan as part of this. Over 18 years, we know we're not going to, we're going to get 4 years down the road and realize we need to adjust it. So we want a process in there, the local governments can go look and see if it's working, if it's not working, and how to be adjusted to move forward. This slide really just says a lot of the same about kind of the process has been. The choice of what you do with your funds belongs to this government. No Macon County funds get spent unless there's board votes and deciding what to do with this. So kind of the point of tonight is trying to get that 30,000 foot view of what that process looks like. So at the regional level, some of the strengths that came out of that were there were existing treatment options within the region. There's a strong history of collaborative partnerships, and there's already a lot of people that are working to reduce and prevent overdose deaths across the region. Now, in terms of opportunities, kind of what came back was like, while we have those things, there aren't enough of those things. We still need more treatment opportunities, we need more connections to care, people knowing where they can go to find out where to go get treatment and assistance for this issue. And then also just the amount of stigma in the region, a lot of folks don't feel comfortable getting help within their own communities. So working on the stigma and safe, if they can get that assistance for them. So the top 3 regional strategies that kind of rose to the top are recovery support services and the peer support for someone who's lived that life and been through that experience and help people in need. Post-overdose response teams, being able to go to folks that have been through an overdose within 24 to 72 hours. There's an opportunity to get them to make a choice at that point to maybe get treatment. So you've got a team that goes and follows up with those folks. And then the naloxone distribution is the other one, the regional level. In Macon County, the top priority is connections to care and treatment for opioid use disorder. And then highlights from the open-ended survey responses just kind of pointed out that you already have a lot going on in Macon County. I was talking to Sheila beforehand, when we've gone around and looked across the region, I mean, it may not feel like it all the time, but Macon County is a little bit ahead of some of the other counties in terms of having options for people to get help, and that's what came up in the survey as well. In terms of other needs, support and education for things like naloxone, transportation, to maintain access to treatment. A lot of the treatment options are not here locally. You may need transportation to get other places, so having that. And then transitional recovery housing for people that are in recovery, but having a safe place where they're not going back into the community that came from. So as I mentioned, one of the choices you'll have to make kind of which menu you choose your strategy at. So there's option A and there's option B. Option A is 12 strategies that have proven to be effective. There's a lot of data out there on these. Right now in the state of North Carolina, and this slide was made a couple of weeks ago, so it may be off another two, but 58 local governments have chosen to go with option A. If you choose option A, you vote as a governing board, we want to do this option of option A, you're pretty much ready to go tomorrow with that. Option B is a little more lengthy planning process in addition to what we've already done, some more reporting. Right now, only 7 governments in the state of North Carolina have chosen option B. We had one of our local governments here in the west that chose option B with the state said, you want to choose that. It really helped them take what they wanted to do and find a way to work with an option A. Just option A is a much, lighter lift, for a better way to put that. It's proven strategies. If you go option B, you've got to do a little more improvement if what you want to do works. So again, the 3 strategies for recovery support services, post-overdose response team, and naloxone distribution. So this is the option A strategy. So all 12 of these are approved by the state. So we've got collaborative strategic planning, evidence-based addiction treatment, recovery support services, recovery housing, employment-related services, early intervention, naloxone distribution, post-overdose response team, syringe service program, criminal justice diversion programs, addiction treatment for incarcerated persons, and reentry programs. So the ones in light blue are there, the ones that are the regional strategies that we're voting on as priorities, so they all match up with option A. I'm not gonna read through the option B list, but again, it's a little bit more outside the box, about a 5-page list. And then if you go that way, then there's a heavier process to go into. And we can certainly, if the county would decide they want to go that way, we can have to consult, it's kind of get into the process.
We've had a meeting with option A, with you and other people.
We had the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners, their opioid team, and we had one with the Omni Institute consultants, kind of talking about some of the things you all may be thinking about having option A. So this is the process for the county to start spending your funds. The first one is to establish a separate fund, which has already been done here in Macon County, to keep those funds separate than other funding. Consultants made this, and in my opinion, actually, 3 should be in front of 2, so that's where you decide, do you want to go option A, or do you want to go option B in terms of strategies. And then the next one, authorize spending, so you vote as a board, we want to do X strategy. You can do this as many times as you want. You know, you may have, say, if we want to do naloxone distribution, we know that's a need. It's not a big ticket item, but we do want to put some money towards it, come back next month and do another strategy. You don't have to do all this at one time. So you decide on what you want to do. You understand and follow the reporting requirements, which I've got a slide on that in a minute, which your county staff have already had to do, even though you didn't spend money last year, you still had to do the reporting requirement. And then you hold an annual meeting, which you see. And this is just a reporting requirement, so you vote on it as a board. Within 90 days, you turn in this local spending authorization report to the state, and then you're good to go with that strategy. Option B, report recommendations. If you go that way, it's a separate report that you turn in. The annual financial report due within 90 days of the end of the fiscal year that you did last year, and then you didn't spend any money. And then the annual impact report, once you start doing activities, you have to turn that in within 90 days of the end of the fiscal year. And then it will be required. So that is a couple hours of content in about 10 minutes. And then you guys have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer. Again, it's not my area of expertise, but I can always get back to you in minutes if I can.
So Russ, I believe you got the whole Region 8, right?
Yes, we have 7 western counties all involved.
What's the timeframe on this?
So, looking to be done probably July right now. We hope to have this report to be able to get the counties. Again, we'll have a regional plan, but you'll also have a local in the 26 from our conversations with your staff. We've got some we've had with the first.
We already have some money. Today, we received $1,214,904. We earned $35,560 interest. So we have $1,250,464 in the special revenue fund dedicated to this purpose.
And I think what we have to regularly do, how do we access that funds?
Yeah, you decide on option A or B, you have to do the funding plan, the resolution, the financial items that you have to, adopt before we start spending.
Right. And I think, Mr. Rhodes, if we go with, we looked hard at option A, that day, we felt like that was the best.
Yeah, and again, that comes back to, after we get this information from Southwestern Commission, I know that, as Russ pointed out, Macon County's got one of the strongest local networks of support, anywhere, so I think that'll be something that this board will have to decide, what is the course of action that we as Macon County feels best for us, and what option will allow us to take that course of action. So it's all up to, I think option A, is the widely used option. I think only a few counties across the state have used option B, primarily your more urban counties, Durham, things like that can dedicate whole staff to managing this stuff. I think A is 90%, 95%, the option that is chosen. And again, that deals with the strings on how you use the money and what you do. So as these things come to fruition in July, we get through this budget, and it'll be a good time to start having these conversations.
So, about the July board meeting, we'll have a plan for us to review on.
No, I think that'll be the time we can
Start.
yeah.
Can I say something? Mr. Rutz here said that there have been meetings. Well, what about the folks that on the front lines of this? Now, I have no clue that there's meetings about. I see this firsthand daily. So does Sheila. So does Men's Challenge, the Smokies. We need to take those folks into consideration as well. In my 2 cents, if you go regional, backing up, you might as well take your $3 million, take the Little Tennessee River, and let them feed on Mr. Finland's fish. That's what you're gonna do. That's just my 2 cents.
Thanks for your 2 cents.
Yes, sir.
And,
Or my 3 millions.
whatever it is.
And I will say, Sheriff, we've reached out repeatedly trying to get, an interview with you, like.
You have not? No, you have not.
Our consultant, Tom Snyder, sent an email, and I sent one the day after the last time you spoke at our meeting, said, we'd love to get your input. And I sent you an email. So.
And I called you.
You did, a couple
And it
weeks
was a
ago, we had a great
30-second,
conversation.
it was a
so-
30-second conversation.
Okay.
A 30-second conversation.
Well,
You were very short, to say the least.
Okay,
So feel free. Come down, let's have a discussion.
okay, absolutely. And I will say, this is why we're focused on the county level. We don't think that the region needs to be saying, this is what you need to do. Simply, if there's an opportunity for alignment with your neighboring county, there may be a way to make the money work for it. But there is you're not locked into a plan. If this plan comes back to you, it's not telling you what to do. It's saying, look, this is what some of the input was. This is what the county level plan says, and you can take into consideration anything.
I guess I'll have to take a little bit of a lick on this. You won't have to shoot, but we can handle that. But I'll probably help put this together, and Dick can bring me in to a conversation to see what A looks like. We won't have it again. I'll make sure.
You're fine, Mr. Schultz. You're fine.
I'll make sure that you're in there, cause I'm not, that day we had that, see, we had a Zoom with you. Who all was on this? Was it me and Mr. Rowland,
Mr. Rowland,
make it in.
I believe we have.
Yeah, she was good. And as we move forward, I got you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Appreciate what you're doing, and my slackness, you get a little bit of grinding on, and that's
That's,
your
that's
big
all
one.
right. We're good.
All right, we'll take care of that.
Mayor, please.
Yes.
The one,
Hold on, next question to you, hold on a second.
I have taken, I've looked at option A, option B, and, when I look at what I was talking about earlier about intervention, to put, things in place, option B has particular spots for youth, intervention, plans. And I realize that you're talking about more reporting and more work, okay? But don't our children deserve for us to look at the best option and to put the best things in place and use this money for also for prevention? Because if we continue to go the road that we're going, then all we do is to build detox centers and rehab centers and do all that, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not here to say that those are not necessary, because we have a lot of people that need them. But I want to prevent for my daughter and for her peers to end up having to use those services until they're 20 years old. So I really implore that you guys please take a look at, maybe a combination of the two, I don't know if that's possible, okay? But there really is a key piece missing in option A, and please take that option. That's missing, right? There's no prevention.
Yeah, you could do some A, you can do some B, there's no prevention piece, but as you mentioned earlier, there's an intervention piece. So it's you can't just provide counseling in your schools in general, say this prevents people. But if you've got a targeted group that you know is at risk, you can intervene with that group.
And again, and I would say that that target group is so interested in the children that don't have any kind of help right now when it comes to trauma and things like that. So if we could go with option A, you could do the things that the positive things that that's there, but also please take into consideration the intervention piece of option B. Yeah, please take care of our kids. They need help. Thank you.
Let's see, who else would be smart?
I wanted to talk to you about a grant that's available. The first two pages, the package I handed out, the statement of that grant. Probably has a grant that's sitting there with Macon County's name on it, to apply for it. It's a 2-year, grant up to $300,000 a year. And as, Russ just said, there's a lot of reporting that has to be done back to the state. There's a lot of yet work to do before you can start spending. And with this grant money, it's called a planning grant, but with this grant, you can take it and contract out with somebody to come in and help get all that set up. Because when you start putting reports into the state, you've got to say, we're gonna put this much money towards this, and so much money towards each strategy that you decide to pick, whichever one you go with. This grant is, pretty open-ended. I've talked to them. It's a rolling grant, you can apply anytime. It's not a real difficult grant to do because it's a planning grant, so you don't have to have all the answers. You just have to have kind of an idea of what you might want to do as far as if you wanted to contract somebody out, to help out with it. There's another thing that I have talked to some people about is we don't have real-time data. Even like with COVID, you know, when we went to do things after COVID and you looked at data, it was 2 years old. Well, data was drastically changed with COVID. I mean, anytime you look something up, the data's usually about 2 years old. So we don't have any real-time data. I just lost out on 2 different grants because we didn't have data. with this grant, I would hope that we would look, I mean, maybe you could look and consider us having our own data system here just in town. I've talked to some IT people already, and to where we can keep our own data. That data can be used by anybody to write grants from, which will bring more money into the county. The school could use it, the hospital, anybody could use those data numbers, that would help us to be able to get grants. If you look, it looks like we don't have any homeless. If you look today, we, take my word for it, we have homeless. We have a lot of homeless, our homeless numbers are the highest they've ever been. So if you look at the data, I'm just going on housing units because the data looks like we've got it under control. We know we don't. But we can sit here and say, we know we don't, but if the numbers are not on paper, it's not gonna do us any good. Everything's driven by data. So,
Well, now, Sheila, who's supposed to be in charge of collecting the data? Who's supposed to be in charge of keeping the data? I mean, heard about it just before, how do we do that?
well, if you can have a hub, you can decide on who you want to have a hub, the county can be a hub, anybody can be a hub to make sure that we collect it. Each individual, like, EMS, they can pull up their data. Warren's went through it and pulled up data that shows, you know, how many overdoses they've worked with. Everybody, not everybody, but a lot of people already have some data that they have, but it's not compiled. And they get to where it needs to go, we have it in front of us, but it's not compiled. The sheriff's department will talk about, you know, one of the numbers that I asked Green about was how many, parents are in jail that represent, how many children are represented in the community from inmates. You know, those top numbers are numbers that's what's gonna get us grant. So if everybody, you know, just one person put it into a data system that we could all, the ones that need to collect, everybody not be into it. But I'm talking about number of like foster kids, inmates, overdoses, all that type. Then if we could collect that and have it, then, and no one doors going to be wherever.
Well, I don't want to drag this out, but are other counties in our region collecting data? We're not.
They are in certain, some of them look
I guess
better than us.
Question to you is, can you help reach out, see how they're doing it, what they're doing, and maybe report back to us? I don't mind looking into it, I hate this grant because we want data, but.
And I actually, I contract out to Simon, who works at county council, and I've talked to him, and he's already looking into some of this.
Maybe that's the first step.
So with this grant, I think would be beneficial. County has to apply for it because you have the money, but. Any questions?
What are the conditions of this grant?
No match, no anything, it's just a hefty 25, but it's pretty flexible with this, and their grants are not that hard to do compared to what you can state.
And what would you apply, what's the grant?
You can apply up to 300,000 for 2 years.
So that's private.
And they're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, I just kind of want to get board's feelings on it, and we always have to do whatever we can.
Yeah, I love going after private funded grants as opposed to public funded grants, so.
It's,
What action is the term?
it can be done at any time because it's considered a rolling grant.
Just give it consensus to
Just need to do it.
initiate the grant application. We should be doing that, or we can do a grant.
I can help, I don't, you know, there, like I said, kind of what you think you wanna do, I mean, like I said, you don't have to have all the answers, but if you wanna think about that, contracting out, get somebody to maybe help with some of the initial stuff that has to be done for the reporting, that would be one thing you could put in there. If you wanna, you know, how many of you know we have a post opioid response? You know that?
What?
We have a post opioid response. There's one exists. It's through EMS. It's down to about one person and use and I think Warren could have some input to the planning grant. Brent might have some input to the planning grant. Right now, the most vulnerable group for overdoses is the ones that are coming out of jail, the ones that are coming out of rehab. That's the vulnerable group right now in the market.
No. I think you'd have a consensus to proceed applying for a privately funded dogwood trust grant.
Do you wanna bring the proposal back to the board? In other words, do we wanna look, after the 2 years of 300,000, how much operating costs are we left with after that? What does the future look like after the grant runs out?
I feel like what she's asking is, not to apply for it, but she needs to add it to apply.
Now, we can apply for this one, because it's a planning grant. The data that I was talking about is for future grants, for any of us that are out here trying to get grants, for any county things. If we don't have data or anything, we can.
But you didn't apply for this one.
Yes, this can go ahead and you can apply for this tomorrow.
And if it's data collection, like if it's something that, somebody's gonna come in and get all this and gather it and make it current, it's kind of a one and done thing, right? Or is it an operation, is it an ongoing operation?
There's the possibility, and that's something you have to decide what you want.
And that's why I'm saying,
Possibility.
should we bring the proposal back? That way, if the board sees the proposal, they'll know kind of the outs and ins of it, at least with that respect.
I mean,
If the 300,000 goes out in year 2 and then year 3 rolls around, is the board are we gonna be asked to come up with
And-
300,000?
You said this could be a rolling.
it's rolling to apply for it, there's not a time frame, you can apply for it any time. And that's, and I'm just gonna throw this in, we have, in planning, it's got to be sustainable, because the money, you got the most money right now you're ever gonna have. And you gotta figure out, okay, we gotta make, whatever we start, we don't wanna stop it, so it's got to be sustainable as the system goes on. And two, this money that's coming in, I think the rest of me knows, aren't there 2 more out there, lawsuits that's not been,
And there's more money coming.
there'll be more money coming, but there's also that possibility that if anybody goes bankrupt, they can, that money stops. Whatever they're supposed to be sending over the 18 years, if they go bankrupt, then we're not gonna get that money. So it's not money that's just gonna be coming in, that's, you take it and run with it, it's gotta be money that you gotta sustain. And I've met with quite a few people like Men's Challenge, and we're all wanting to work together instead of competing. I think that's the only way it goes, is to all come together and, try to see what we can do, all of us together.
How's this been working with Men's Challenge?
Men's Challenge, well, not, they've got a new director, and he's great. And I think there's some things that we've been talking about that we can work together. Like, we can provide classes, we do a lot of classes. So we can provide classes to them, like education, that type of thing. And there's also a transportation thing that we're having to try to work out, because we have to leave the county almost for all services. We put anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 miles on vehicles in one year to get people to get services. So, and he has to take his out of county with stuff down Cedar. Yeah. And we have to, so we were trying to see if there was a way that we could coordinate transportation. So, there's a lot of things already going, and we just need to come kind of sloppy, and the 3 great to come together, but Brent detoxes everybody. And they go in. Are the detention officers, is that what they used to do? Is that what they're prepared to do? Got everybody that's arrested now, we take it for detoxing. So if I start in the jail as much as we can, providing rehab services in the jail. Brittany, I've made a lot. It's not got a lot of room, but there are some things that we're already doing, but there's some things that we're not gonna do.
I think one thing that makes Gary Shearer shy, because we're going through our budget thing right now, and I haven't been on the ESSER committee for 2 years. We knew that ESSER money was going to end up, it's gone for 24. That left a big void, a need void. And now we're trying to work in some situations, how to maintain the quality that we were doing, sustain it. And with funds, and we'll talk about this a little bit later in another item. But that's what makes you a little nervous. is trying to sustain something, you get something for 2 or 3 years, then it's your baby after that. And, again, where do you bring in the money without raising taxes and things like that, how do you do that?
But I think if we, there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of services that I think that we can expand upon, that's not gonna cost a lot extra once we get the initial setup. That's the whole goal of what we're trying to do, is to collaborate, see what we can come together to do, and then, and work together, and two, and the research I've done, and Russ may have seen it too, Brent, it actually, the less people you have going to jail, you're gonna wind up saving money. The more people we can get out here and get them a job, it's gonna be an asset to the community. The more people that we can get well on their feet, that's gonna save money for everybody. But, and there are programs in A for the schools, it's for like early intervention, so it's in there. I think that we have to look, and I don't think much time, but I think we have to look, as we had said, and you said, Derek had told you that mental health is not really, it covers a lot of things, well now it's mostly probably, usually the word is behavioral health now. Mental health is not used a whole lot anymore, it's called behavioral health, which covers substance use. It doesn't mean that everybody that has a problem out here can be treated one way. You've got to have different ways, there's different things that need to be put into the school, I think. I'm a big supporter of peer support. They're awesome, everybody's heard me say it. And how many kids do you think is gonna relate to somebody who comes in to sit down and talk to them that has blue jeans on, tattoos, ripped jeans maybe, or are they gonna listen to somebody that's gonna come in and sue you? Which one do you think they're gonna relate to the most? Everybody relates to it. But I'm just saying, peer support it's a proven, evidence-based, that it does work. And there are counties, there are places that are going in the schools, but that's a school thing. But I'm just saying, there's a lot of different ways. You can't, everybody out there that has a behavioral health problem, they're not gonna be cured by one way. You gotta have different. Because it covers, substance use, alcohol, and mental health. They still use the word mental health, but behavioral health is correct. But I'm around, if I has any questions or anything, you know where to find me.
Sheila, I have a question for you, Russ, and the chair. Is this growth problem growing, or is it, out of all the talks and everything that we've done over the years, and all of the drug addictions and the deaths and everything else, it is rising. So, in my mind, that the discussions of this is getting us nowhere. And it's sad. So you're talking about prevention, but prevention happens, as the chairman says, you have three places. You have home, you have your church, and you have your schools. Well, our society, we need that family unit somehow, and that's why I'm so excited about the work that we're talking about. It's a new life at the rec park. Give families a place to go where everybody can have entertainment for free. The chairman and I talked today. You take your family of four to the movie theater. By the time you pay for your ticket, you buy popcorn for everybody to drink, you drop $100. A lot of people don't have $100 to entertain their family. And so, this free place for entertainment, the free place for the all-inclusive playground, the pickleball courts, the covered swimming pool, all these things to bring, that's where the focus is. Because if you're out here doing needle exchanges, Narcan, everything else, people are taking advantage of that, and by all means, stop transmitting diseases and stuff by using needles, but we're not doing anything to slow this process down. It's gaining traction.
The main thing that I have found working with them on board for 5 years is that they just wanna feel like that somebody cares about them, that they belong, that they fit in. And I think that's with parents, and when parents feel that way, kids are gonna feel that way. I don't care what, kids are gonna listen to their parents. I don't care if the parents knocked them in the corner the night before, they seen them beat up mom the night before, they're gonna go home, they're gonna listen to those parents. And we gotta work on the homes.
But it's sad that, like you just said a few minutes ago, that we're looking at the sheriff and the jail for detoxing these people. To me, these people with drug addictions and everything, the last place in the world, they need to be in jail, consuming his face for true criminals. Don't get me wrong, I've got it in my family, it has been for many, many years, and I on both sides, so I get it, I watch it, I see all the problems, but trying to use the jail for these people is not the appropriate.
It's not the answer, but we don't have anything else, and they committed a crime, so.
I have a question for you. You know, statistically, for these people that are on drugs, how many of them have to go out on
There's not a definite number out there for those that have got Adderall, when they were kids. But that's one that they have considered, you know, that I think they're afraid to turn, there's talk, but they won't turn the numbers loose, I think they're afraid to. Because Adderall is definitely, Adderall and, is, yeah, that's terrible. We see people overdosing.
How many times do you work with kids? And this is a part that we don't want to often talk about it all the time. And the fact is, in many ways, no one wants to say, but we were raising drug addicts without money to really deal with that. A kid's behavior issue has to start at home. And if you want to deal with that, really love was going to do something that no drug on this planet's ever going to be able to fix.
And one of the things I'll say that's we did a skit a few years back from, Brian Hollins, the sheriff, and, Derek came, and we did a skit, and I'll tell us everybody, we, asked the kids, all the kids, we did a skit at, school, and we asked the kids some questions, and Robbie has 2 questions, and these are the 2 questions that stick in my mind for that whole day. He said, how many of you, or maybe Derek asked that, I can't remember, when somebody asked, how many of you have a safe person that you can go talk to, that you feel like you could sit down and tell everything? Not a child in schools, that's safe. Not a child is different, and that is not mental health. It's a behavioral problem, but it's not their behavioral problem, it's a behavioral problem that they're having to live with. And the other question was, Robbie looked at me, he said, I'm not asking you to tell on yourself, but I want you to be honest, raise your hand. How many of you know someone that gets tired of their parents, all the 4 children in the school? And that right there. Shake that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Purpose, young people when they come into school, work with the curriculum, and, we bring it to work, but I won't work overnight. You go back goes through the institution, the home, the spiritual compass, and the school, you rely on everything on the school. That's a miracle, what that is. Where am I at, Paul?
You gonna ask the town representatives, do they have any input on this tonight?
Amy?
I'll just stand up and say, I know statutorily, you guys are, having to take care of health and human services, but it's a tough choice that you're gonna have to make. But just know that no matter what you do, the other stakeholders in the community. We all know it's a problem, so we're here to help. I mean, we started out with the downtown door and giving them a building to be in from a town perspective. It doesn't matter if it's your responsibility statutorily. As people, we need to work together to work on these problems, so whatever you decide, just make sure you include all the stakeholders and we'll be there to support you.
I do have something, sorry. I have a theory, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this theory. People smarter than me probably developed it, but if you have to invest an amount of money, it seems to me if you invest it in the youth while they're young and malleable, that would be a better return on investment than investing in jailing them or chasing them around when they're older in life. Seems like if we have to choose where the funding's gonna go, put it towards the younger formative years when we can actually make a difference in their life, as opposed to once they're kind of already off the rails. I mean, they need help too, but you can help over here. You may have to fund less housing them and chasing them around.
David, I agree with you completely, and honestly, I mean, I've got honestly hundreds of testimonies just from the primary school. The kids that have grown up there and having somewhere safe to be every day, all year long, and now that they're adults, they're going back and letting them know what that was like for them. Even though they were around the drugs, they're in the same place and having people who actually care to be there. So a lot of times we're dealing too much with the after effects of it instead of heading it off. We gotta start with these kids, you know, and every time we take everything away from these kids, we can't turn around as a county, take everything there is to do for kids away, but then turn around and be upset because we're putting a bunch of drug addicts out there. You know, it's really counterproductive. It starts with the kids. So instead of, I mean, I'm all for the concept of, instead of waiting for them to be on drugs, why don't we prevent that from the very beginning? Work with the kids, be there for them, create more programs for them. You know, I mean, I have a lot of kids at the karate school, but even with the number of kids that we have, we're not even making a dent in the amount of kids that are in this county. So where are all the programs for the youth? We can't sit there and keep putting money into all these things after the fact, and we're not dealing with the actual issue there. It starts with that. So I agree with you.
And I think I see Colleen nodding her head that we've had this discussion a number of times. And, I think, here in a few minutes, we'll get down, Dave, don't you leave me, when we talk about the, discussion and consideration of the revised quarter six sales tax. Don't leave me, because we want to come back to that on the, that's on the T&E, Lynchburg, and what we want to do with that quarter six sales tax. And even, it's a local issue, we've got to, we'll talk about it later. Thank you. Let's see. Anything else, right?
You can't win. You just got
At
shielded.
least I'm on both sides of every issue, right? I make friends and enemies equally.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman Shields. My name is Rex King. I'm a Brave Entry Crew. And we're from Atlanta, Georgia. I'm here to inform you of a healthcare housing initiative we're involved in at the Coggins Hospital. And solicit your support. I'll try to be as brief as possible. That's a very important business to take care of. Let me start with something I think we all agree on. Healthcare is a fundamental component for a vibrant and thriving community. The presence of Angel Medical Center here in Trenton has a direct impact on the economy and quality of life in Macon County. Highlands Cashers Hospital in Highlands is the exact same impact on the plateau. But running the hospital anywhere is a challenge. Operating a rural hospital is particularly challenging. And one of the greatest challenges rural hospitals have is attracting and retaining their workforce.
workforce that is highly trained, highly skilled, highly capable. And it's particularly more challenging in Highlands. It's a very significant lift. And there are very few options available. And that forces healthcare workers to focus on healthcare jobs. Forces into larger needs. Sometimes dangerous. Listen, I'm a flat land. A number of people working at Franklin, from Franklin, that work in home inspections. That's what I was up and down that mountain scale. Doing that day in, day out, is very difficult. I had a conversation with Tom Neal, the administrator at College Station Hospital on Friday. They currently have 33 full-time, part-time nurses. The Eckerd Living Center, 5-star nursing facility, is operating at 75% capacity. It's not because of lack of demand, it's because of lack of workers. And Tom cannot initiate new healthcare initiatives or expand existing services. So we were selected, Ray Ventures was selected through an RFQ process, spearheaded by a concerned citizen-led group. I'm running three gentlemen, probably Ray, Peter Palverini, and Mark Hine. We were tasked with exploring the feasibility of developing an affordable, attainable housing community for healthcare workers. I want to be very clear, it's very important, that this is for all healthcare. It's not just for honorable cashiers, hospital workers. These are hospital workers, yes. It's open to a very broad spectrum of healthcare workers, and public safety, first responders.
Slide that you're talking about, like the Cashier's Hospital.
Trying to. A little broader context. But it's very important, it's for healthcare workers, not hospital workers. The hospital, HCA is a group, generously donated a 10-acre site just below the public property.
Can you go back to one that shows the dwelling?
I'm getting to that. Yes, there's in the last 6 months, we've been doing a lot of work. Extensive market studies, surveys, technical work. Hired a very talented team of designers. We're well beyond the talking about it stage. We're well beyond the let's get another housing stage. We're ready to make this happen. What we have designed is an 80-unit community. You see the context there. Between the hospital and Buck Creek Road. It's a village. Cottages, the townhomes, the community center, and the campus, and the community green area. Very clear, we are not, will not build a trailer park. We're building a very high quality, energy efficient, and sustainable building. In this first phase, about 60 units, it will be an $18 million investment in Lincoln County. Like everything else in life, nothing's simple. Cash is a very expensive place to build. between Nail, 2x4 and working, finishing down that line. Healthcare workers are well paid. They make more than the incomes that typically seen on the more common affordable housing subsidy programs. Only come out of the tax rate program primarily. And the affordable rents part of that workforce. Flash forward. Is really serving a band of income from 60 to 160 over there. Tax rate communities serve 60% or less. There's only a handful of workers at that hospital who qualify for tax rate housing. And we're serving residents making $50,000 to $150,000 a year. Rents that are affordable to those workers. We still can't just operate this as a market rate. We can't generate returns for the track. You all have participated in and heard of public-private partnerships. We're approaching this project in the spirit of community partnerships. We are reaching out from conversations with community foundations, nonprofit foundations, wealthy individuals, wealthy families, in an effort to raise the necessary capital to create an inclusive, sustainable, vibrant, high-quality community that is affordable for the vital healthcare workers and maintain that affordability for decades to come. Members of the commission, I'm not here asking the county for financial assistance. I'm not here asking for a contribution. I'm not asking for tax relief. This stage of our progression, simply asking for your support. We have drafted a form of a resolution. Simply expressing support for our efforts. And that support would be instrumentally important to see fundraising from these community groups and presentations to town Coggins to negotiate water and sewer plans for that process. Just a little color, this is the proposed phase 1, 60 units, up Creek Roads to your left, hospitals to the north of the plan. Proposing 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, and 3 bedroom cottages, townhomes. And those are 1-story, 2-story configurations, and 3-story. This slide very quickly shows you the income levels and income brackets that we were targeting, and this was based on surveys and market studies, community day, healthcare, hospital, readings and everything. And you can see it's basically serving the workforce between 50 and 150,000.
I was trying to follow you in my book. On my computer, could you go over rent rates?
Not yet. Well, it's a big page full of numbers here. But
What some people call affordable rent, $2,500 a month, $2,000 a month, sometimes.
in Highlands, North Carolina, highly skilled or trained nurse, or beginning doctor making $150,000 a year, you can afford it. But you can't find $25,000 a year accommodation. You're not ready to buy a $3.5 million house yet.
And that's the top end of the range. See on this screen, which get less of that. Their rents ranging from 970 to $2,500 a year. The average is about 17. They're two-bedroom, mobile homes outside of Island's written for $2,300. Their garage apartments in downtown Island for $2,000. These rents are affordable to that workforce. They're not affordable to someone working in the restaurant, washing dishes at the restaurant. It's not good. You have to be affordable to healthcare workers.
Where are your sewer and water plants out there?
The town of Highlands currently serves that hospital on the town system. That entire site is governed by agreement executed over 30 years ago. There is capacity to service this project, but the agreement does not specifically identify this project on campus. So our negotiations with the town is to acknowledge this. One is desperately needed, but two can be serviced by the existing agreement that is in place.
So what is that, what's the support that you need? What is the support that you need? It's not financial.
Simply a resolution of support.
The resolution's in a packet.
We drafted a resolution. And we'll assume that we can council.
I think it's a good though.
Do you have that in your presentation,
The resolution.
the resolution? See, I haven't even seen it. The chairman kept that. And so, it isn't.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's got mixed up.
I just want to make a motion that we support this resolution.
I can't find the resolution, because it's not in this page. It's on the road. I didn't see it.
Then we're gonna look at this back.
Yeah, I don't have it, so.
Copies here.
Would you read that, manager?
You got it, you went down.
A resolution of the Macon County, North Carolina Board of Commissioners expressing support of Highlands Cashers Hospital Housing Inc. and REA Ventures Group, LLC efforts to develop a housing community on Highlands Cashers Hospital campus that will be attainable to healthcare workers in Macon County. Whereas Highlands Cashers Hospital Housing Inc., an independent not-for-profit entity acknowledging the personal recruitment, retention, and operational constraints at the Highlands Cashers Hospital caused by the cost and severe lack of housing attainable to the healthcare workforce, issued a request for qualifications for a development partner in 2023 to explore the feasibility of a healthcare workforce housing community, and whereas in August 2023, HCHH selected Ventures Group LLC to initiate due diligence and determine feasibility of a housing community on the campus of the Highlands Cashers Hospital that will be attainable to all healthcare workers within Macon and Jackson counties, and whereas in March 2024, HCHH and Reed Ventures Group presented a conceptual treatment plan of approximately 80 units to the Highlands Cashers Health Foundation to build a consensus of support within the community. And whereas in April 2024, HCHH and Reed Ventures Group requested the county approve a resolution of support for the proposed healthcare workforce housing development that needs to be made. Now therefore, the Macon County Board of Commissioners hereby resolves, Section 1, the recitals contained in the preamble of this resolution are incorporated by reference into the body of this resolution as if fully set forth herein. Section 2, the Macon County Board of Commissioners acknowledges the severe lack of attainable healthcare workforce housing on the Highlands Cashers Plateau and the importance of a viable and sustainable Highlands Cashers Hospital. Section 3, the Macon County Board of Commissioners acting through its governing body hereby confirms it strongly supports the proposed housing development on the Highlands Cashers Hospital campus and the benefits it will bring to the region. Section 4, that this resolution shall become effective immediately upon its passage and approval.
Phase 1. What does it mean?
Phase 1 means 80 units, or 60 units of the total 80 units.
Is that a prelude to phase 2?
That's, the site can accommodate approximately 80 units, that's all you can.
Oh, so this is
Physically
assumed
fit in
10
there.
acres.
That's right.
Phase 1 is 60 units.
And if we are successful in our fundraising efforts, hopefully we can do both phases at the same time. Start with 60. See where we go.
Mr. Chairman, at this time, I'd like to make a motion that we support the resolution that was presented by the county manager, read by the county manager, the Highlands Cashers.
Second. Who needs that? That's,
That was just my copy.
I've got the.
And
Any further discussion? All we want to raise your hand.
thank you.
gentlemen, thank you very much for your time and your support.
Good luck with the water,
Yes,
so.
we'll keep you informed of the.
Keep going back up the mountain.
I'm staying down the mountain.
Let's see, who we got here? False work, based line partnership. Y'all cleaning it up or? Yeah. Report out of it, okay. I'm just gonna take that and she's gonna hit. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Let's stick on here tonight, that site in front of them, I think our school system, our students, our workforce in the town. The Macon Pulse program, which stands for Partners United in Learning and Skills Exchange internship program, is designed to provide CTE students, concentrators with CTE, it's career and technical education. Anyway, provide student concentrators with real work experience, enhancing their skill set, and preparing them for future careers, while providing them with the resources that Reed does. This proposed partnership will be between the town, the local school system, and the business community. It would offer many benefits to our community. Local government will see talent behind in our communities and increase members of skilled workers and incentivize economic growth and development. Employers will develop a well-prepared, highly engaged workforce with the hands-on experience and skills necessary to succeed in the workforce. Most importantly, students will learn and earn on a clear pathway to success while building confidence, motivation, and skills they need to succeed in the workplace and life. Schools support students through their graduation and their opportunities to continue their education at local colleges and universities, where they earn degrees, credentials aligned with career ambitions. This internship, which Ms. Strickland's going to get into each week, actually would be a stipend for these students who go on to complete this internship program. As we all know, I think there's two things at play here. There's a lot of students outside our community and the opportunity to work. This shows them that there are opportunities. This will show them that there are opportunities in our community for employment and business. It also improves our workforce dramatically within our county. It is an advisory committee with the school system that's reviewed this program, proposed program, and they signed off on it. Mr. Shields directed unanimously, and I would like to put in Ms. Strickland, Josh Harris, and the whole team and Susan to formulate this program and alternative to Ms. Strickland to tell you about the details.
Well, thank you, Mr. Jenkins, for that nice introduction overview of the Macon Health Internship Program. And just as I look around the room this evening, there are so many people in here who've contributed to make this come to fruition. One was starting with a partnership to look at the courses that we're offering in Macon County so that we could have a really strong set of pathways for students. And we are entering into the fourth year. Next school year will be our fourth year on that journey. And because of that, we have these students who are graduating with these high quality credentials ready to be hired. And so on May 30th, we'll be having a credential celebration at the Performing Arts Center for 55 students who are graduating, ready to work with credentials. But what we'd like to do is expand upon a program that some other people in this room helped us get together. We implemented the Panther Pulse internship program through our public safety classes. And we did that in collaboration with Derek Rowland and Sheriff Holbrooks and Warren Cave. And we have had students going out and doing mini internships or workplace shadowing out at EMS, at the fire department. They've been doing ride-alongs, even at 911. And everyone who's worked with these kids have been incredibly impressed and want more. We also have students who can do internships, and when students become a concentrator, that means that they've done a level 1 course, a level 2 course, and they've earned a credential that aligns with that pathway. So what we'd like to do is be able to offer internships to students who are seniors, who are concentrators, and align them with businesses and professionals in Macon County so that they can spend their second semester or first semester of their senior year interns. And that would consist of 120 hours on site. We'd have to have an internship portfolio, a final presentation. There's a contract with the employer, there's a contract with the student, and then also with the parents. And we also have to do a weekly evaluation and reflection. And then we would end that semester, that internship, with a celebration of them where they're presenting what they learned too. So we know that the internships work. We know that a couple of our students who earned EMT certification and who have been doing the ride-alongs and who've been interning with Macon County Emergency Medical have been hired. We know that our first pilot, we had one pass last week. The pilot's exam has been hired by Macon Air at the airport. So we know that getting kids out into the workforce, working under professionals, learning the skills is successful, and it helps us retain talent right here in Macon County. So we also done this on our own. We've modeled this after Surrey and Yadkin counties who have a workplace learning program. And we found that we had all of the elements in place. We had workforce development, we had county, we had economic development commission, we had a school board, and our employers. But the one thing that they had that we didn't have, besides an army of workers, is they had the stipends for the students. Because we would like for our students not to choose to go and stay home or work a job that's not gonna lead to continued employment. We'd like for them to do this internship so that they can aspire towards something greater. So we're asking for $1,000 stipend for the students. We also, I'm a mom, I wanna make sure that wherever my kids said their car was gonna be, if I drive by, that's where they're supposed to be. So we have an app for them. That would be like their time clock, their check-in, it has a GPS on it. They have a weekly check-in with their teacher. And then just all of the benefits that Mr. Jenkins mentioned about workforce development, developing your own workforce, your own workforce, and retaining your employees here in Lincoln County. So it's a wonderful opportunity. Even the picture on the flyer has the kids, they're in their uniform. They've got their logo, they've got their patch. It looks so good, and I'm so proud of the expectation for them. So, I say all that to say, I hope you would consider this budget request for the upcoming budget.
Anything else for me?
Oh, I always have something else. But, actually, I did want to share with you that the Pulse internship program, we had all of those great elements that we mentioned, and we submitted a proposal to the National Career Technical Education Best Practices and Innovation Conference. And we were selected as the top 26 presentations. And so we'll be going to Portland, Oregon in October to share about this. And we have 2 30-minute sessions. So it's quite an accomplishment to be able to go and share. And it's because of the network, it's because of the ecosystem that we have for support.
I'd like to say, though, I see needless that year, the Board of Education has been very active in all this endeavor. There's been good bridge to curriculum in Franklin High School. And, I would say, good support, what y'all have been doing, we're on the same page.
They're very easy to see.
So, I will say thank you. I guess you're the liaison from the board to here, but I want to say thank you for what you've done. And, we'll continue to work together. It's nice to have this group here. PEC, making sure that those people stay involved and understand what we're trying to do here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Old business. Jeff Morgan.
Remember we talked about the foundation we placed in Vernon College that the Board of Commissioners asked me to look into. Last night, I asked if you were okay to consider having an architect look at it, come up with a proposal for what we need to do next. And I hope in your package you have that proposal from local architecture. We found several issues with the school that needs to be corrected. Of course, the obvious are those brick piers that are failing, need to be removed. And the building needs to be covered back. We need to make sure we're not getting any more moisture damage as well after we remove that. And we need to make it look like it didn't happen. The columns out front, the ones that have pictures of it, show decay and second damage. We cut into one of the brick, bathroom brick, about 4 foot high. And we got some brick out the bottom to see if those posting all the way down to the concrete slab, and they did. Well, that's not a good thing. There's the down there. So we're gonna have to look at the design, to either cut those posts off, top of Rick Allen or something else. So we're gonna have to do something. We're gonna have the same problem we got at the library. The downspouts, the gutters, none of them are turned away from the building. It's a slab on grade structure, and they have moisture issues under the floor cover, which causes enough. And some of these are actually toward the middle of the building, so it's causing problems everywhere. Also, the grade around the building sometimes has a negative slope toward the structure, so we need to address that. This architect, also, I'm sorry, but there's several doors that open to the outside, and you have a driving blowing rain, you get moisture. So we suggesting different things over there. So anyway, this is his proposal for his services. This is, from start to finish, design documents, bid documents, monitoring construction, he's asked for $13,750.
Jack, he mentions testing services are an exclusion, anticipated testing, exploratory concrete and moisture testing. Do we need to allow some of that
Yes.
now at this
Yes.
point?
Yes.
Okay. How much?
I would say 5,000.
A piece or total? Because of course we'll need a budget amendment for this. So we've got 15,750 plus the 5,000 to 20,750.
Resolution.
Yeah, just under 50K exemption. I wasn't aware that we're gonna have one prepared.
Yeah. We can, make that, motion to be made, we make it continue.
Or just say add, along with the budget amendment for 20,750 from fund balance, general fund balance. Also approve the resolution accepting it from the statute. How do you do? Accepting it from the provisions of, 143 dash, is it in accordance to the, general statute 143-64.32, because it's estimated to be a sub, okay.
Yeah, they know.
Oh, yeah.
They know all that.
I make a motion that we approve funding out of the, general fund, fund balance upon $20,750.
And the resolution accepting.
Resolution exempting.
We qualified base elections.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All in agreement? Consider that.
Real quick, while you're up there, oh,
Go ahead.
library.
We'll have that ready for bid in mid-June. Or we'll have the bid, library project ready for bid in mid-June. You're talking about the Franklin library?
Yeah. And then they had a library grant opening.
I hope that first of July, we put the floor cover down today, had a terrible time getting them. Believe you get tacky because of humidity and not able to, got the storage buildings delivered yesterday. What we got left to do is to trim out the electric and the plumbing on the inside, and HVAC, the VNC, and that was inside. Now you're waiting on the Friday to make it outside.
Rockport building.
Done a lot of Rockport is done.
See, Jack,
I'm out.
you're here for me too,
Thank you, Jack.
Okay, as we found out, where it was brought to our attention, when we had this situation with the several months back, about the grid, and then all the emergency management had to go into the schools. And, there's some dead spots with radios. We checked into that, because we had to for the new locker building, with the ACs. We've got that installed now. And we're waiting for ENC to connect the operating system on the 29th of this month. After that's done, you all have already heard the name for that. After that's done, there won't be a dead spot in this school anymore. The sheriff, police department, emergency management can't get a good regular season. And that's very important. You don't want a dead spot, because that's where something will happen. Sure, there's a lot of physics. Anyway, what I would like to propose is testing the other schools to see if they can really play. Anyway, I have two proposals to test all the other 6 schools. I'm not suggesting we test the high school, because probably do something or Barton County, those high school too. We have 6 other schools that need testing. We've got 2 proposals. One is for $7,200 for all 6 locations. We got South Macon, we got J, we got Iowa, Idaho, we got Holland. And we have another proposal for $1,250 which comes to a little bit more. But what I would like for you gentlemen to do is to approve me getting one of these guys to test this. And the reason I say one of these guys, they're within $50 of each other. This is not a big against anybody. But the technicians that one company sent to install the system, they came from Miami, Florida, to do it. These companies that are closer that I think we should use. One of them is in high school. Anyway, what I'd like would be the authority to negotiate with one of them not to exceed $7,500 to test these schools to see what we can do next.
What about
We've already tested. See if we can pass. I've got a proposal from one company, upgrade that, put a new system in that, that comes to $73,500. And needless to say, if we test these schools and they fail, I'll be back asking for money for that. But I think there's something we should change it.
Help me clarify exactly what you're testing.
Testing for radio signals, for the two-way radios, for the emergency
Handheld radios when they're in school,
When they're in
when they can
school.
radio back out to the dispatch.
Yes. Yeah.
That's critical.
And this system that we just installed at Macon Middle, there's amplifier repeaters all through the school. But there's also an exterior antenna that is put directly to the ECI system. So they'll have a direct connection that way to the emergency management and safety. It's right in. So that's what I asked. What's the
I think it's critical, that you're not to exceed
75?
which company was what?
Hanson.
This time I'll make a motion to authorize Jack Morgan, County Manager Rowland to contract with Haynes Corporation not to exceed $7,500 for safe technology.
And the budget amendment for $7,500.
Budget amendment, fund balance. General fund balance.
That's what testing.
Yes.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? We for vote, not any. Thank you, Brother Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Appreciate it, boys.
Appreciate it.
Here, you next.
I suppose so, yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
All right, sir.
I'm talking about the Macon Middle School track, what's, evolved into and is required is a track replacement. After, some boiler sampling, showed that the track needed to be replaced. LS3P hired as a design professional to spec out what was needed for a brand new track at Macon Middle School. With the help of LS3P, they released request for proposals, of which there were 4 responses to the request for proposal. The lowest bid proposal was from a company called Geo Services. For $930,180 to replace the track. And Ms. Breeden is here, and I think that the board is recommending that you guys consider that company to replace the middle school track.
You want action or discussion?
Yeah, let's go for, yeah, we need a motion or then we get some discussion. And then we just go ahead with whatever that
Have you seen some designs?
Yes, sir.
Because we appropriated $57,000 for design, and I didn't even know what this was designed. What's the difference with it now, 930, the same company, Geo Services, a year ago was $650.
There are additional, paving for handicap parking spots just outside of the track. And there's also additional, drainage just on the inside of the track.
Board, I'm sorry. So of course, $930,180 is a lower bid, but just to remind the board, we had some money left over from the Macon Middle School renovations. And that's to the tune of $750,800. So if you voted to allow the school board to move forward with this, I think we had contemplated all along that, the school contracted to work directly with LS3P, so they're treating it as a school capital outlay. And they put it out to bid, so they would have a contract with Geo Services, but of course the county would provide the funding, again, as part of their capital outlay. So the amount you would have to appropriate would be $179,308 is the difference.
Lord, does that take into consideration the $109,000 grant?
Well, the grant was used, I know, to pay for LS3P's fees.
That's right.
And I don't know what's left.
Is there any remaining on that?
I don't know.
That's what I'm unknown, I just looked at this earlier in the meeting, took my number.
Business finance would know that.
There should be some left, but I don't know the exact grant amount, and I don't wanna speak to that, but the $179,380 gets us where we need to cover just the base bid of $931,80. Unless we need contingency, I don't know, if they need contingency built in or not, or if that's just something y'all would come back as you're building the track,
Yeah, any project you need to have, this is pretty straightforward, so I would not think a huge contingency, but if you don't have it in there, surely something's gonna happen that you're gonna need.
Is there any any other soft costs?
The geotech recommended improve flow in the track before the subbase is installed. And at that point, there would be recommendations to undercut the areas that were soft. And not build them with some improved material at that point. So there is a step where we would check and confirm if we didn't run into anything soft before we went back through with the subbase and the asphalt layer of the track. But we won't know that until the subbase is prepped and regraded and demolition is happening.
if the grant was $109,000, what you said there at 109.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
The contract with LS3P was 55.2, that I found in the minutes earlier, so there should be about $54,000. Is that enough? And I don't know, I'm just, all the discussion here,
Would that- I
Is
mean,
54,000 enough contingency at the moment? Has
And that's
LS3
about a 5% contingency, which I think our project of this size would be certainly a reasonable amount. There's no building construction, we're talking about all of the site work associated with the track itself. There would be a warranty with the track surfaces, it's about a 5-year warranty. And the estimated maintenance time frame to recoat the top surface of the track is about 7 to 10 years from now. Is when they recommend you do some maintenance.
And then, everything covered on top of that?
And permeable surface on top of that.
It's a 2-layer track system, so the base layer
is a urethane, rubberized base layer, and then there's a structural layer of spray urethane on top of that. And the whole system together comes with a 5-year warranty. And from just the manufacturer's recommendations, it's about a 7 to 10 year maintenance plan, where you would resurface the top of that track with a new top layer at around the 7 to 10 year mark, depending on the use of the track.
Last track out of 50 years.
Well, and with the camber of the track and the non-permeable surface, water should not be getting under that, so that we should not see the same problem that we had last week.
It's designed with perimeter drainage around the inside of the track that would collect that water runoff from the track surface itself and to keep the field water from getting onto the track.
The only reservation I have is a joint meeting in 2 weeks, and all the school capital projects coming up. I think it'd be healthy to have discussion. Both boards engaged. Just like you said, leave it up to you guys, whatever you want to do. What do you think?
A lot of expenses coming up, huge expenses, all the way across this county. It's not just the school system. I mean, it's, and so, question, about the asphalt. I know with Danny and when we met, he said it requires 4 inches of asphalt. Is that what's planned for the new
We
track?
have 6 inches of ABC base course and 2 inches of asphalt beneath the track surface itself.
So we went from 4 inches of asphalt needed for this to 2 inches now.
We have 2 inches with a 6-inch ABC base course.
And so there's absolutely no way to put 2.5 inches of surface over top of the existing track, fill the crack, put 2.5 inches of surface over that track, whether it be binder or surface, and put this, surface over top of that track.
Not with the recommendations of the geotech analysis that we had done that did borings through the track surface and the existing base course, which the geotech evaluated as being not adequate to support a track in the future.
And my biggie is, and I said it a long time ago, is why do we need $2 million tracks 2 miles apart? That's my reservation in this whole thing. Is, we need an adequate track at the middle school. We need a state-of-the-art track at Franklin High School. And to throw $1 million at this one and then, God only knows what at the next one. I really like to, figure out ways to make an adequate track over there without going overboard, because like I said, we have a lot of expenses in this county, and so that's just.
That's not a bad idea.
I'm not trying to push it off, I just wouldn't mind your engagement on that.
We need to think about how long that's a great for.
In our documents, when we issued the project for bidding, we put a tentative schedule as part of the scope of work to issue a notice to proceed around June 10th, which is the first day students are not on campus at the end of the school year, right? Is that right?
That's great.
No, it was the week before that. It was May. I'm getting my
Teachers are gone, not June.
Teachers are gone by June 10th, but the idea is that this project would start this summer so that it would finish before the winter track season, and so that it would also finish before the anticipated start for the high school construction project, which will eventually require the high school track team to have a field and a track to practice on. And so the idea was to try to get this project completed, to not interrupt the winter track season, and to also provide a place for the high school track team to practice during the anticipated construction project for the high school. And so we could issue a notice to proceed as soon as school is out, so that we can make the best use of the summer.
I'm not a traffic builder. My questions are pure, but to me, you can only compact asphalt on 2-inch lips, right?
Asphalt is typically installed in 2-inch lips.
That means that 2 inches, I remember reading my driveway, from 4 inches. I feel like 2 inches is pretty thin. How long is that standard
a civil engineer that worked with our geotech engineer to design the adequate base for. So I'm thinking it's 2 inches, it could very well be 4 inches. I know the base of ABC stone is 6 inches, but we did prepare the documents to reflect what we think is appropriate for the track. So I'd have to reference the drawings to confirm, double check. and make sure.
Because normally you put 2.5 inches compacted, every inch and a quarter compacted to 1 inch. So you put 2.5 inches of asphalt, you compact it 2 inches. So you can use binder or you can use surface. But originally, when we were talking about this, we needed 4 inches of asphalt, and now we're back to 2 inches. We have 2 inches already there, and we have cracks in that, like you said, that track's been there for all these years. So if we're only gonna put 2 inches of asphalt, then it makes, and it seems like we could fill those cracks and put fabric down and put 2.5 inches of asphalt, compressed to 2 inches, and put the surface over it. Then you have your 4 inches. I mean, that's where we started with this thing, and it's just gotten, I mean, the whole thing of it is that if you go in and you take one pass, the best way to do it is to take one pass, whether you use binder or surface, and not do binder and then surface it. My brother does this, I mean, that's what he does for a living, and I've talked to him in depth about this and what they do in Indiana for these tracks and stuff, and that's exactly what it says. So anyways, but I'm good with waiting for the joint meeting with the school system, make sure we're doing the right thing. Is that how it's done? Okay. That help? But, I don't know.
When does the bids expire?
Okay.
Well, they don't, but the contractor, based on our documents, was anticipating a notice to proceed around the last week of May, first week of June. As far as planning their summer work, planning their pricing to be good through that period of time.
And the latest first week of June.
I would say we could get through the first week of June.
We have our group meeting on the 28th.
And your meeting's on the 28th.
Is that too?
Taking you back to the minutes of February 8th. Emily, of course, presented. Specs are due late March, bidding by May 1st through May 14th. Notice to proceed May 28th, completion by August 23rd. The vote was unanimous. Now, your investment's about 19% of the total project cost. I don't have a dollar to buy for just, the 179,380 is what y'all have to come up with in addition to the funding we already have. That's about 19% of the project cost.
I think we could get it done. If we delay, I think we'll go to the table. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to game in 2 weeks. What do you think? What do we gain, delaying 2 weeks? We'll talk, or what are we going to gain by delaying this decision 2 weeks?
Discussion, possible ideas.
Hear what you're saying. If I heard what you're saying, we've been discussing this for a good while.
We're right back down to the same company that presented this plan and everything to this track originally. That's the lowest bidder. I mean, we've made a loop around this thing when the professional came in here and gave us that original plan for this track. And now we're back to him for that company again.
How much is the parking lot?
That's $71,000.
How much?
$71,000.
Geo Services is the top builder in the country. We knew that going in just 2 years ago. You know, all the Coggins tracks, Texas A&M, Clemson, I mean, they're there at the top, Danny Williams, that's their own company, but we've had many discussions on how to build tracks, they can do this too, and I'm just flabbergasted that we had it ready to go for $650,000 to $700,000. That's what cost us $1 million, it's just frustrating. Kids got out of track, we watered this thing to death for 2 years, been out to bid 4 times. Frustrating, government is not the most efficient machine.
I've got a bid here from Record 10 back in March of '23, so we've been doing this for a year now.
What was Recontan? It was a little bit.
I just was looking.
Got Recontan and Jill Services.
Yeah, they all submitted about the same time. I was just referencing that for time, that's all.
Yeah, y'all, I'm game, whatever, guys. These kids really, and we had the track team come in and make a presentation. It's phenomenal what our track programs at Franklin High School produce, the quality of those children. They're serious. I've been over once to practice in the gym. It's phenomenal what those, and we've not had a home track meet. Some of them go all the way through high school.
And they want a state title, I believe,
But they didn't win here.
correct, well, they didn't win it through a meet here, correct?
Yeah,
Right.
they hadn't had a meet here.
Right.
And
The
that's
state champion that did not have a home meet.
Yeah, and whether it's 650 or million, I mean, we sit up here, we spend millions of dollars and stuff sometimes, I question it all, but these children deserve a regulation track. That's the end game of this thing, this thing will be a regulation, be sponsored, certified by every athletic association in North Carolina, it'll be a regulation track. Now, this stuff, well, it's too short, it's not long enough, it's too wide, the corners are too steep. That's what we're gonna be looking for. If we get that down the road later, even though I'm not gonna be on this board, I'll be pitching the field, because these children deserve a track. And I wish we could have had them on this year, but, you know, they deserve a track. There's about 60 or 70 kids in the track program.
There's at least that.
Yeah.
And then middle school track, that's really the highest participation at the middle school. They've got, I think, around 100 kids in middle school. So take the middle school and take the high school.
Every time we delay, it goes up. I mean, you know, I'm with you, John, 100%. But it could be, I don't know when the high school track could be built, but these kids, they're set for over $1 million. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. But, you know, I'm not school liaison.
This time I make a motion, we enter into contracts, carrying with Williams. Geoservices for making school track and authorized, making school system.
And approve the budget amendment. You wanna just round it to 180,000 even?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that'll come out.
Motion been made.
Without the specs, we're gonna just, here it is, we're gonna approve it.
I feel like, to be honest with you, what's happening right now is we've hired an architectural firm to design a traffic school system. I feel like fundamentally it's kind of out of our hands. We charge the school system to come up with designs, they come to us with the manila envelope and say, here's what we're asking for. It's our job to get funded or not funded. So I feel like I agree with everything you said a minute ago, and you heard me please, Mrs. Scott over there about that. But at the end of the day, 2 weeks is 2 weeks, it's summertime, the kids only have so much time out of school, they'll be paving that track when they come back. I mean, you know, we're back to square one, so we're gonna do it.
I think Danny Williamson will not lay his athletic surface on a court base. He's not gonna.
Oh, I agree 100%, but where the confusion came in is he said we need 4 inches of asphalt in order to put that surface on there, now we're presenting 2 inches. I'm not doubting the fact, but at the same time, let's do it right if we're gonna do it, and whatever it takes to do that. And so if he's gonna warranty it for 5 years, then I guess it's,
DJ's
put a name on this.
I think before,
Yes, that's fine.
talking to Danny, I think it's agreed to.
Okay. So that's a little better. And the drainage is gonna be corrected, and all of the high ground and stuff around the track, all that's gonna be graded away, and
it won't have water on
And then
on the asphalt plant.
And you gotta keep them on the wrong foot.
Yes, sir, absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
Because right across it, the girls that blow the infield of the school.
And you gotta have ADA parking out there. You know, they use that for the special Olympics right now too. And that ADA parking is
Actually, we're in Highlands this year because of the course track surfaces. But yes, we've used it in the past for special.
and the senior games is used all those facilities, but you're gonna have some of those.
right.
We got a motion saying, closing discussion. All in agreement?
Thank you, Jim.
Roger, thank you very much.
I'm not entirely sure what, sort of update y'all are looking for. I know we've got, a request for, continuation of our agreement for the next phase of our design fees that we need to, approve for the summer's portion of work. We're nearing the end of the construction documents phase of the high school project. We've been working the last couple of months with Carol Daniel, who is this construction manager at risk that y'all have selected, to build the high school project. We are in the wrapping up the document stage to turn those documents over to Carol Daniel for bidding this summer of the construction portion of the work. So our procurement phase is a next phase of our design services agreement, with the amount of fees that is associated with that is yet to be authorized by this board. And we've been working sort of phase at a time, with our fees, services. And so that was an exhibit that I updated and sent to Lori, and Derek about a week ago. For that ongoing, support for the procurement phase, which is led by Carol Daniel, to bid to subcontractors. I'm happy to answer whatever questions y'all have about the status of the project and where we're at, with things and some of the work that we've been doing in the last couple of months. We've been meeting with the liaison committee, and a large portion of the discussion has been led by Carol Daniel, because we're in that process of estimating the scope of the project and developing budget information, which I think will be in a position to present to y'all at the May 28th meeting, with Carol Daniel leading that effort, and presenting the updated cost of construction that they've estimated in anticipation and preparation for the bidding that will happen. That is a formal bidding process with their, subcontractors that they are in the process of developing a list of subcontractors and outreach to local folks and regional folks that are capable of doing the project of this size.
So we will discuss again on the 28th.
We'll be discussing it again on the 28th, and y'all can sort of guide us if you want more formal presentation regarding the design work that's been ongoing, but we're sort of at the end of that stage, and there's been very little, sort of design changes. We've been meeting with and refining some of the educational spaces with folks like Colleen and her teachers and CTE, to make sure that we have everything coordinated. But, the design has largely stayed the same at this point, because we're just really in a documentation phase, so that Carol Daniel has, drawings to work off of to go with eventually.
This summer, so when we meet on the 28th, will that kind of give us a, idea of what's going to happen this summer when we get all the kids away from there?
Yeah, we'll talk about some of the logistics that we'll be working towards through the summer, and into the early fall, before they start with a more formal construction process. That is, I think they're estimating in terms of the scheduling work that they've been doing, a start of mid-October, for the bulk of the site work that needs to start with the project. But there's a decent amount of preparation that we'll be working with them and have been meeting with the school folks to talk about how do we drop kids off from cars, and where do the buses go when we're during construction, and how do we keep the construction areas, the student areas safe from the construction activities and those kinds of things. So that's all good stuff that we've been working, with the school folks, to develop those logistics plans, and we'll do a little bit of preparation with what will happen in anticipation of that with the construction starts.
Okay, everybody home.
Okay. That's all I got. Emily?
I do have a question.
Yes. call last week where we had Carol Daniel on the phone, you talking about procurement. I'm just wondering, so we've started this off with design, bid, build, which makes sense to have procurement in your contract. But now that Carol Daniel is gonna be actually doing the formal bidding, what role does LS3P play? It costs $238,800.
Our services largely stay the same, because we still, facilitate the communication of our information through procurement, so their subcontractors, there will still be a pre-bid meeting for all of those subcontractors that we will help facilitate. There will be questions that get asked as subcontractors dig through our documents. They will need clarifications, we will issue revisions and addendums based on ongoing feedback that we get from Carol Daniel. And so there's a continuation of the work that we're doing, and it would largely be the same as when, we would be hard bidding this the similar way that we did with the track project. The only difference is that Carol Daniel just opens the bidding, and they put their GMP together with the bidding that they get and the cost information that they get from their subcontractors. So our work is always really the same. We're still communicating and reaching out to those contractors to clarify the information and to make sure they have everything that they need to bid it properly.
Carol Daniel will actually be putting the ads in the paper, soliciting bids, figure on bid openings.
Yeah, and we would still be on bid, we would still attend the bid opening, we would still attend the pre-bid meeting, because we would answer a lot of those questions that would come up during the process. It's about what else.
I was just curious, and of course, this is a new process for all of us. We've never done it this way, so.
Right.
It just, like I said, hit me after our call, like, why are we, I feel like we're paying double for procurement, so.
Right, but our services still essentially stay the same.
Good question, thank you.
So if you wanna move forward with the procurement phase, we would need a budget amendment for $238,081 from general fund balance to authorize the next step of LS3B's contract for Franklin High School. You're not asking for much tonight, right?
How much is left in?
$238,081.
Can we push that one back here?
I'm fine with that.
County school board on that one.
Is that a?
Make a motion this time we postpone funding for LS3P for 2027.
Second.
That's not gonna stall anybody, right, Emily?
No, I mean, our procurement services will start at the beginning of June. That will be when we issue drawings to Carol Daniel for them to start bidding to subcontractors. So we would enter that phase at the beginning of June.
I suppose I'm just trying to bring in some good conversation, so really.
Any further discussion? All in agreement, put your hand. Let it go, everything for Spain. Next is matter. I'm gonna make my little brief.
Since you're not speaking as a private citizen.
Goes back what you were talking about later. Looking at a amended, resolution, calling a special advisory referendum for the levy of a 1/4 cent county sales and use tax. That's been what we, last month we did one, we're doing an amended one now. I'll just read it to you, whereas May County adopted a resolution calling for a special advisory referendum for the levy of a 1/4 cent county sales and use tax at the March 12, 24 May County Board of Commissioners meeting. And now desires to amend this resolution to allow for the funding to be used to better address ongoing operational needs in the Macon County school system. And that's where things can get there and get fixed and help some kids in that arena, that lower age range. Anyway, that's me deep in that thing. But anyway, I go on to say, it is, the Macon County Board of Commissioners hereby stated it intends to use the revenues from the Article 46, 1/4 city county sales and use tax, if approved by the voters, this puts it in the voters' hands of this quarter cent sales tax. Not us up here, not y'all, but the quarter cent sales tax. If approved by the voters of Lake County to fund operating expenses in the Macon County school system. And is there anything you wanna say about that, if y'all, you and Mr. Lynch talk today, or?
We did execute today, and I'm just here on behalf of the board and Superintendent Lynch to say we appreciate and we are in support of that resolution.
And also, we had a business advisor council that's made up of business people, and, they, support this too. We'll be starting a, Mr. Randolph, one draft him, a marketing piece for this quarter cent sales tax. We're gonna do everything to make it work this time. The last time it didn't make it. And, we're gonna work hard this time to market it in such a manner that the public will understand their role in securing or, bringing more needs, wanting needs to the Macon County schools. And, being that would be, I'm going with that.
You want to comment on that? We're very limited in what we can do in the area.
Okay, keep talking.
My understanding that we've known that the local board cannot market this.
Right, yep.
That has to be done by an outside organization. Now, the local board can distribute information, but it cannot lobby one way or another for it, or spend taxpayer money to do it.
Not advocate.
Right, cannot advocate one way or another.
You can do the resolution, but that's the end of it there. It's for,
Yeah, but the Business Advisor Council,
remember.
are willing to take on the marketing piece of this, which allows us to abide by the rules and stuff like that. This board here, where we're not advocating or whatever it is, the Business Advisor Council, when we met last month, we're going to, when school's out, we're going to design a marketing procedure, have to take it to the community, sell it the right way, and, but it'd be under the Business Advisory Council, which also, the law, they assist the Macon County Board of Education in their, whatever it is, things to go forward with, or need. They're part of their role is to assist the Macon County Board of Education by law. And we've got a group that works with them, and, we'll jump on this. Probably, you gotta watch it. You'll either get in too late, or you get in too early. And to find that time, what I've worked with some of the business advisor county people, they're working on making sure we don't do it too early, don't do it too late. We'll keep having meetings on that. And I'd like to think that, we'll look at this in a marketing sense somewhere through the, August, because you only got September and October to do the push. And, so what you were talking about earlier there, David, this is gonna be a piece that they're gonna be looking at real hard, is getting assistance down and getting help down into the lower grades and stuff like that, to do the preventive part. And it's like, you were talking about, or after the horse is out of the barn, it's hard to herd it back up. So we're gonna try to do more at the grade level to, assist the homes, whatever it may be, to get these young people, with their minds on something else besides things that's detrimental to them. That's why I want you to stay. I just don't want you to walk out of here with all the kids on your hip too. As we move along to support this course itself back for the voters. And I'm gonna let John Sherrill say what he always says. Tell us about that, about that tax, Wes.
Sales tax is the fairest tax there is, if there is such a thing.
But in this situation, it's the fairest thing for the voters to do in there. We're not doing it. So we're definitely gonna advocate. I feel like it's something to move on.
Put it on the referendum, and that's
And let the voters decide whether they want to pay.
they're smart enough.
Yeah, so.
We got to be smart enough with business by the council to make sure we're doing the right things. Getting marketing out to the community. We're doing,
My only question is, because I thought we were adding the term operational to the word capital that was already in there.
no, throws out, that's it, capital's not in there. Is that what you're saying?
Last one on the capital.
Probably should just be capital. I feel like that's operating, be anything that could be.
Exactly.
Well, operational expenses allows us to kind of have a broader.
Yeah,
way
use the
to
word you
invest.
want to. Or replacing ESSER funds or whatever.
Let me just, move that a little bit. We had the word capital in there when we first started, meeting with some of the people in the business arena. When we received $62 million, we wanna make sure that we're presenting something that the $62 million is not a deterrent to voting. Well, of course, it's sales tax. That was the right reason behind that, is to leave the word capital out of it, because it's it can turn out to be a negative as far as people voting. So we've got enough money out there now, you got $62 million. Well, we don't want that to interfere with what we're trying to do, give, of course, in sales tax, get some help in the lower grades and things like that. That was the rationale behind the capital. We'll go from here. It's an amended, resolution, this, you have it in your packet, we've had an opportunity for the last 2 or 3 days to talk to each other face to face. Still got more discussing.
Can I ask-
So we're okay.
Can I ask our legal counsel, can I add the word capital to that?
To capital, the capital and operational needs.
Just, I wrote down earlier, Allen's project, yeah, we got him $62 million. Allen's project is gonna come in somewhere around 10 million. Mr. Higgins, the thing I have at school, 500,000, we're putting a plan in to purchase the land, middle school track. They're wanting to search that track as well. Highlands has got a geological survey with the turf up there. We have East Franklin, we have $125 to $40 million highway pipe. $62 million goes a long way, but there's $200 million in capital needs as well. And I feel like, I'll make that motion as long as I can have capital in.
It'll just need to be added on the third whereas. It will say, the third whereas, it will say allow the funding to be used to better address ongoing operational and capital needs of the Macon County school system. And then you will make your second change under number 1, under the now therefore it be resolved. You will change it in the last sentence to say if approved by the voters of Macon County to fund operating expenses and capital expenses in the Macon County school system. And those are the 2 places that will need to be changed.
Can we table that till our next meeting?
If it's neither or though, if it's neither or, you know what's gonna go.
Yeah.
This time I'd like to make a motion, we add the word and capital needs, the amended resolution. For sales tax referendum.
Is that on, the third, this is 1, 2, 3, the third whereas, get on,
Number 1, last sentence.
so number 1, last sentence, that,
Operational and capital.
operational, and,
each copy.
Maybe you can get that done before lunch.
It's on a referendum, it doesn't matter. Let's go for a vote.
All in favor?
Well, we go another hour, Gary.
Just 3 or 4 minute reset.
We got 6 hours to go.
I'm gonna stay with that, hey, that downtown, it's alive, can you believe it? We don't need that fire right There is broad support in the county recognizing we have to go revamp in a couple years on there. And I said, but for that was doesn't it cost us $10,000?
There you go. You'll learn something.
I agree. So,
Oftentimes.
we saved it. We saved it all the time.
Good deal on sale.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely right. I'm glad they had over 80, and then that way you got. Because you want to be flexible enough to use it.
Let me shut this down.
Turn it up where voters can get behind it.
Okay, I'm gonna have to end the live stream right here, people. I'll be back in a bit.
I do every single day. Whenever mine is